welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Be Clay. Yes, thanks for tuning into another episode of Be Clay. It is your girl Elisa, and here we at the Be Clay podcast. We are learning and on a journey of how to just what be clay, just to be molded and to allow the powder to do what it needs to be done for us to be perfected. Okay. So, um, there's not that much to really say here as far, and there's no real like announcements or things like that that's coming forth. We already know that I am on a journey to finish this classes so that we can graduate August 31st. Well, be finished as my term ends on August 31st. And so graduation will be either October or November, which one I decide. So I will let you know from there. I do want to say though that your girl has been writing her book. We've been talking about writing a book for a while. For those that have been with me for a while. Um, and I've been saying I'm going to get it done, but I'm actually writing chapters. Okay, so chapters have been written, so we're doing these things because it's about time for me to, like I said, I've been wanting God to get the return on his investments. And so we just not continue to talk about it, but we be about it. And to be honest with you, since I've been writing, uh, you know, these chapters, my brain is not as clouded as it has before because it's been filled with all these books in my head and hasn't been written down paper. But we're doing it now. So um, we are celebrating every little victory, right? That's what I say. We celebrate every little victory. We're writing chapters. Um, I, yeah, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm giving myself a deadline when I want to be finished per se, but it's going to be good. And I know I've been talking about it, and you guys have been like, I'm waiting for your book, and I know you're waiting. I'm waiting for it to be done so that you can, read it. So we out here and we finishing. It would be nice to have this finished by my birthday. I think if I stay locked in, it should be at least the first book because it's going to be a series. So at least the first one should be finished. And then I still have the B Clay and book, and this is not the B Clay book. I still have to write that. Go back to writing that because I had to start that book a while ago. Actually, I started writing that book in 2020. So we'll go back to that. I can't even find what I wrote, actually, to be honest with you. So basically, we had to start over because I've been looking for what I have written down and I can't find it. So we're basically really going to start that one over. So, with all that being said, let's get into this episode. So, in this episode, we are diving into um we're basically picking up where we left off, which is me letting you know, telling you about, the struggle that it started basically really immediately in 2025, where basically the inner conversations, the core root of, you know, of everything, I guess, basically, um, like the root of, you know, everything, I guess. We was getting down to the nitty gritty. Like we really was getting down to where things began, how I shaped myself, even with, especially I guess with the me feeling unworthy and that I feel like I had to be the man in the house. I believe that like I had to do it. Like I don't, that started a lot because to be honest, that part of not feeling worthy enough, not even just because, so me not feeling worthy, right, actually shaped the it did shape me as the one who has to save everybody else, and not even thinking that I was worthy enough for Elisa to fight for Elisa. Um, I can be there for anybody else. You know, I'll do for anybody else, which is funny because like one time at my job, and one time at my job, now everybody for the most part they know that they know me. They might not even know my name, but they know me as one, who's basically like always happier to some degree. That's what they say. Like she's always happy. And for the most part, I'm not going to walk around. I am for the most part, and especially around this time because again, I've been healing, so there was a lot, you know, and I was just happy the fact that like I was being more free. It might be a lot of crazy days, but at the end of the day, uh, to be free of so much, it was great and awesome. So, and it was great. So I'll be walking around and I'm always talking and saying and things like that to everybody and everything else. Everybody's cool, but there's one day we go through something at work, and it wasn't necessarily we me and my coworkers, we go through something at work, and we all were treated unfairly, right, to say the least. However, I I guess I received the least of the treatment, right? And still trying to be there for everyone else. And with the treatment that we received, like it was not great at all. But I got the least. Now, but because of the way they was treating my coworker, when I said it pissed me off, like I was ready to like, oh no. So now, so now when I was leaving my job, I'm few like I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And then like the next day, and it really wasn't at first the way that she treated the next day. And then I expected an apology once things got, you know, uh there was some misunderstanding. And so once now this misunderstanding has been rectified, I expect an apology. And we did not receive an apology. And so this had me at a whole nother level. A whole nother level. So now I'm up here like, oh no, you're not gonna treat my coworkers like this, da da this, and I was just whatever. And I just walked around everyone that was like, oh my God, who did it? Because now they just knew you got her mad, you had to do something. And I was there. Like I was livid and I was there. Right. But it wasn't because of me. Now if it was me, I wouldn't have been as I just would have whatever. But because it was somebody else, I was fighting. Like I was fighting for them. Like they didn't even have to worry about it. I got it. I got it. And that's exactly what I told them. I got it. And everyone around now, everyone else was like, oh my, now the rest of the people in my job was just ready to like tear this person, tear a person apart because you got her mad. Now, it had to be something if you got her mad. But the thing is that because it take a lot to get me to that place, and it wasn't for me; it was for someone else. But that's because I don't really know how to take care of myself. Like I don't even know what they even look like. I don't know how. I mean, I'm learning that now. We're here now. As of today, we are here. Okay. Uh, no longer am I sitting up here thinking so much about other people. Not so much because the Bible does say, don't think so highly of yourself, but a healthy. But now it's like, what about Elisa? And because in the end of the day, how can I take care of my own children if I don't take care of Elisa? And so, and allow myself to take care of Elisa. What does Elisa want? What does Elisa need? What does Elisa? And so, accordingly to how God telling me, not how I am, because he'd be asking me, and I used to be like, oh well, Lisa never gets anything, so we're not don't worry about her. But now we are. With all that being said, these are the core wounds that I had to go through in order that shaped this mindset, this thinking, this way that I was, living throughout these last 38 years at this time. Um, so, you know, uh, just walking, learning how to survive and not really thrive. Wanted to uh, fix it for everybody. I mean, every single body else, and not knowing how to allow things to be fixed for me. And so, with that being said, like everything was coming up to the surface, even the things of which I didn't really realize to some degree um, until like about the end of February, like really like in the beginning of March. I didn't realize how bad this was really, that how much it took a toll on my everyday, you know, I guess living for the most part. And so I was going through now the person that I have that I talk to, um, I wasn't talking to them as much as I used to talk to them due to schedules, not just their schedule, but my schedule. One, because of the fact that, I told you I got my car repoed in like October, and then like I did get a new car January 31st. However, I wasn't driving the car at that time right away, and I was still renting a car because I was renting a car since what, November? Yeah, I was renting a car since November. And so, for those who rent a car, this is not cheap at all. Okay. And so I was always in the streets working, trying to make sure I paid his rental every week, as well as tax season just have started. And so, and I started a new uh, pilot program with TurboTax, where now we are in offices. So there was extra training that I had to do, and it was a lot of things. So I was always working, basically 24/7. I feel like I barely slept because I was always working. And so I didn't really have, it was really that much time to really talk to, you know, and do the therapy, whatever, because I was running around all the time. And so, but because I wasn't talking, that means the inner conversations with myself was very loud. So there was much of a struggle. All these, feeling aware and this and the other, all that. It was a lot. It was just, I was struggling. So I'm in this office, and here's where I say that yes, we got to be careful, and hopefully that you really look to have someone to be right there to help you to to cover you in this healing process, because the enemy is right there, okay, right there. And so, walking around feeling like I'm too much, that I cost too much, right, to be loved or to be fought for, even for my own self, right? Which allowed me to also feel like a lot of years were wasted. Because mind you, I just started school in December, and I just knew that by what, February, that I was going to have half of my uh, course load like finished, like half my degree program finished, because the self-paced, and that's the main reason why I decided to go here, is because like it's self-paced, and I have to take at least what, 10 classes that I already took already. So it should have been a breeze. All I had to do was a little refresher course, take the test, and keep it moving. Um, but because I started working all the time, and then like the support that I thought that I was going to have, I didn't really have it as much, and all these things, and then it just wasn't working. So it caused me to, you know, it just really caused me to just like unwind. And then again, like I said, like not only did the other words, but the it was heightened of those that was intimidated by me. That caused an issue because now I started to pull back. Like, well, at least you need to just pull back because like they get a bit intimidated, and at the same time, so, but you can't pull back because like, you know, you just said that you're not. So like, it was just a lot that I was dealing with every single day, and all of that, just struggling in my mind every single day. The that part, like I said, God was trying to tell me and show me I couldn't receive it. All this was going on at the same time, and I wasn't saying anything to nobody. I kept this to myself. I was just walking, going to work every single day, you know, to all these jobs every single day, and still pouring out to people, right? And when we was at the offices, I was still pouring out. And so, but you needed, but you needed to speak. And I should have worked harder to make sure that I talked to somebody because, and um, again, because the enemy is out there and he doesn't want you to be free. He likes it when you are walking around here basically like dysfunction in your brain, in your mind, all over the place, barely making it every single day. Because then your defenses are down to a degree, and you don't see him, and I feel like he feel like it's a perfect time, and this is why you need someone that's going to cover you, because and everything else. So let me tell you how to even more so I came to this conclusion. So so we in the offices now. In the beginning, there were two people. It was me and one other person. By the end of February, there was other two more people that came into these offices as well. Everybody had their own office. We up here, we work and things like that. When other two people came in here, I was the one helping everybody, like, hey, just like do things like this and that, or case and be. One of the other ones that came in, she was an accountant, actually, right? Who was, a very successful accountant. And mind you, we all know that that's where I'm trying to be. That's what I'm trying to get there, right? It's taking so long to get there, but we're working on it, right? So with all that being said, I, was, intrigued at the fact that, she was here at first. And then not only that, because after, having the conversations with her and where she's at, things like that, she was like, hey, like, you should be where I am. And even though I'm in school, and as much as I'm in school, I always still feel like, and I still feel like to some degree, that because I'm not where I wanted to be, where I need to be, and how long it's taken to get there, that I'm just like, I don't know, bad off or something like that. And so, but for her to say, who's already at the place where I'm trying to get to, for her to say, like, hey, you should be where I am, and you good, and I'm gonna help you get there. So I'm like, oh, that's what's up, right? And it was a little comforting to hear that. And but then, yeah. So after that, like when she was after these things, we were I was in her office and I was talking to her. We started talking about kids. She told me how many she had. I talked about how many I had. And then she was saying, actually, I didn't even tell her how many I had. I just said that I have kids. And I did say that I had more than one, but I didn't tell her exactly how many I had more than one. and she made a comment about that, and then I was just like, well, my oldest was conceived from rape, so and then we moved from here, and so she immediately, said like, I'm sorry, but it was in a different way that she said that I was sorry. And I kind of just like, okay, whatever, because I'm used to people saying that, or whatever case may be, so whatever. Then we moved over later on that day where I was helping her with something, and I was standing right next to her at her desk because I was showing her how to do something on her computer. So then she said, "Let me see," and then she said, "Let me see your hand." So I'm really thinking that she was trying to see like my nails, or something like that, or whatever. But she begins to like grab a paw and was like trying to like as reading my palm. So I snatched immediately. Like, no, I don't do that. Be good. But when she grabbed it and she got trying to read it, she said, "How do you want me to punish him?" And what I said was like, no, no, I'm not about that life. Like, we good. God got it. I'm good. Like, I don't need you to do anything. And so like she said something else, and then she left it alone. I left it alone. Now later, then again, we in a conversation, and she brings up again about how quickly I snatched my hand. And I said that, I didn't need her to do anything. Like, there's nothing that we can do that's better than what God can do. Whatever revenge that we can think of or conjure up in our minds, it can't even compare to what God can do as far as vengeance, and vengeance belongs to him anyway. So, but she began to say how, um, but it's not that he raped you like physically. And she was saying, I don't, because she was saying how she don't take it lightly. And she, like she really wanted to punish him, not just because of like, what he did physically, but because he raped you of your time and he raped you of your time and your dreams and this and that. And she began to basically, literally, those things that I was feeling, she basically was like pointing it out, like really touching on it. And that shook me. Okay. That shook me. Um, where I really realized, yo, you need to, we can't be out here just like uncovered, right? And just because the enemy's out there, the enemy, you know, here you are, not making it, basically struggling, and your guard is down, and the enemy will can utilize somebody or send somebody and to feed on those things that you're not saying, right? First, it started off with feeding off the validation of, knowing that like I'm still okay, because I feel like I mean, to be honest with you, at this moment, because it took me so long to finish school and to get rid of it, I feel like I just let so many people down, including my own children, not just myself, but my children. For us to be in a that had I been in school and really did what I sought out to do, we would have been a very better. We would be in a better place, like financially and this and any other. And, I won't be just, the example that they have of someone that starts something and don't never finish it, and not really living up to the potential of what God's given, all these different things that I was thinking and feeling. Again, keep it to myself. Don't say it to no one else. And, but yet I needed validation, right? Looking for validation. The enemy touched on it. It touched it. So what shook me wasn't the fact that, of them offering to take care of, you know, my son's, excuse me, y'all, my son's father, but who hurt me, but and being so they was trying, that didn't matter, because what they was going to try to do was doing it where through others, other spiritual ways that was not lined up to God. So I was good with that. But because I don't play we don't play with that. Right? We don't play with the in that spirit realm because I don't play that dark spirit realm. I don't play with that. I wasn't scared of it, but I don't play with I don't need to do that. But it was the fact that um it was the fact that how the enemy can, you know, take those things that we're not saying. Because again, I wasn't saying a lot. I didn't tell anybody. I wasn't telling nobody these things. I was constantly telling myself throughout every day, but I wasn't telling nobody. I was going to bring it up when I had the conversation with them, but because of our, like I told you, our schedules and things like that, I didn't say anything. And what I should have was really, figured out a way. Whether I couldn't call them, but at least text them, sent an email, something, right? To release all of this. Because again, the enemy used that like basically against me, try to bait me to stay in this place. And so you have to be careful. You have to be careful in this. Don't try to do this by yourself because the enemy's out there. He's not gonna say, "Oh well, since you're healing, I'm just gonna leave you alone and come back when you're stronger." Like who does that? Like what? Like, and I'm saying who does that because think about it. When you watch anything where there is two sides and its opponent, the opponent will always take advantage of somebody when they're in their weaknesses, right? Whether it's a football games, whether it's war or whatever case may be, they're always the opponent always going to take advantage when the other side is not at their best. If they're up there fighting back and forth within themselves, then that's the best way to attack because their fences are down. Their defense mechanisms are down, right? Their guard is down. And so they're not you can come in, swoop in real quick, and they won't even see you, don't even know that you're there or anything. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful and you have to have someone there to help you so they can cover you while your guard is down. While your guard is down. And that right there really like I said, it shook me to the core. I left that her office like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. I literally was like, oh my God, I can't stay here by myself. And that's what I did. Like I said, I can't stay here by myself. Because again, it wasn't something I could see if I said it out loud. I could see if I told it, but I didn't really say it out loud to no one for them to pick up on it. So like that. And you know, and so easily, but when we have all these unaddressed internal pain, it basically leaves spiritual doors cracked open, right? It leaves doors wide open. And if you don't bring your wounds, if you don't bring it to God, if you don't allow yourself to heal, then He would use people to tap into that, like tap right into that and offer counterfeit, whether it's from the counterfeit justice or revenge that she was trying to, or other things to keep me bound, right? In bitterness or wherever areas to keep me angry, to keep me feeling like unworthy, to keep me feeling in a place like, barely surviving. So, because he would tap right into that. That when you're seeking for validation from other people, and not just whatever lies that you was already walking into, he will tap into those lies to try to even make you realize, oh, this is real, right? This is the truth, but it's not really the truth. But it'll become because remember, a lie only works if it becomes your truth. And so if you think on a lie long enough and now it becomes truth, now it does its job. But if there is a lie and you tear it down right away and say like, oh, and go with the truth, then the lie didn't work. And so, now I know at this moment that I really, really had to. We got to figure this out. We got to figure this out even the more so because I definitely couldn't stay there. I couldn't stay there, and that enemy was right there. Um, so I stayed away from her for a while. She eventually left, but yeah, yeah, we're gonna stay over here, okay? Especially since I'm not in a place or strong enough to really fight this battle, so we're going to stay over here, right? Because I'm not about to be going myself, put myself in a place that I know that I'm not strong enough or have the capacity to even fight. I'm not going to the spare room like this because I would get destroyed. The enemy would destroy it. That's the thing that we don't realize though too. I mean, that's another series or episode later. I'm not really going to get into that necessarily altogether, but because we put ourselves in place in the spirit realm, then we don't even know that. I'm not getting to that. But with all that being said, with all that being said, I was smart enough to know, yeah, Lisa, stay over here, right? Stay over here. And allow, like, it's time for you to get back at his feet wherever, however you can get to it, and stay right there because that's what also allowed me to know that. And you have to know where you are and walk it and like really understand where you are even in this healing journey so that because again the enemy's out there and your defenses are down, your guard is down. And this is why I say, like, get somebody to help you because, baby, when your guard is down, who knows what? Okay. And of course, he's going to throw everything. I mean, everything in the book, like everything at you while your guard is down because he does not want you to be free. And it's going to seem, and that's why a lot of times when we get to that point of really trying to heal and everything is coming at us at once, because to heal, to get to the root of it, to really truly heal, one, I feel like the one on one hand, it's like, of course, everything has to come at you at once because at the end of the day, it's like, how bad do you really want it, right? Um, when there's if everything was so easy, then like but how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And then at the end of the day, um as things are being thrown at you all at once, when you're trying to get to that place of healing and being healed, and you trying to get through and um have that breakthrough, um and he wants you to stay in that place because, like, if he got your mind, he got you, right? Like, if you constantly still, like, because you become to a threat to his kingdom when you're free. And so if I could keep you bound, like, if I can keep you bound, then what? If I can keep you walking around hating people, never can't trust nobody. You not only can't trust nobody as far as people are concerned, but you never would trust God. And if you never trust God, then you're basically defeated, you know? And so, of course, he was going to throw everything at you. Of course, of course. He's going to throw everything at you. Of course, the main people that you're angry at and, your mama, your daddy, of course, it's going to be heightened at that place when you're trying to heal. Of course, all these things will be heightened to try to stop you from getting to the other side. Because it's not just Like when you heal, it's not just the healing for yourself, but healing for those around you. In this journey of healing, and not the extensive healing journey that I have been through, even when I said when I started this podcast, was because I began to tell people uh, the progress that I have, like wherever I was telling people, and it was begin to liberate them, even though I didn't even get all the way there, but the process, and they will see me through the process. And as they've been, I even know so many people is really watching me until sometimes people say something. But as they're even watching me through the process, again, it was liberating them. It was liberating them. And then some of those that, that I was mad at or angry at or this or the other, once I forgave and released the anger, the bitterness, resentment, whatever it was, it began to liberate them. Right? So like we I when we get healed, we can actually liberate our mamas and our daddies, those that we it can happen. So, of course, the enemy does not want you to get healed. He does not want you to be free. And I remember that it was said to me, the enemy does not want you to be free. Because if you're free, then your kids are free. Again, I have birthed up to 6 generations. So, therefore, not only am I free, not only is my kids free, which that's a generation, it'll be a cycle of freedom. Like I'm freeing my lineage. I'm freeing my lineage. He doesn't want that. So don't do this alone. Grab whatever you need. Grab the right therapist. Like if I was in therapy, wasn't working because it was the right person. Find the right person. Right. Do what you got to do. Do not do this alone. I'm here with you because the enemy just wants to free, but I want all to be free. To be honest, that's it. All I want is everybody to be free. Why not? Uh, it's amazing. No, don't get me wrong. It's a fight to stay free. It's definitely a fight to stay free, but it's a fight that I'm willing to take, and that I'm willing to do, because the cost of not is I don't want to go back. I refuse to go back. I refuse. I've come so far and I refuse to go back. And you will have to say the same thing. Like, I refuse to go backwards. I'm going to go forward. You might slip up a couple seconds. You might, be down for a moment, but get back up. Okay. Because every day wasn't sunny. And there were some days that I just did, that I was down for the count. But I got back up and got back in the ring, and I won, right? And so, just, I don't really watch boxing like that, but, there are rounds, correct? And so you might be down for a couple rounds, but baby, get back up. So, here is where, if you don't take anything else, do not do this by yourself, because that into me is out there, all right? He's out there looking and waiting and like, oh, okay, ooh, their fences are down. The guard is down. All right. We'll swoop right on in with so much stuff. But when you have someone there who's going to cover you while you're down and strengthen you while you're down, that the enemy can't get to you. At least whatever he throws at you, because he's going to throw stuff at you. I mean, he wouldn't be doing his job if he did. And that's all he really doing is doing his job. Um, so, you know, that is all he's doing. He's doing his job. We can't even get, like, can you really get mad? Like, he's just doing his job. um, but it doesn't have to take precedent. And even if it did for a little bit, that's so, even if it did, if he, because, like he had me for a moment, he did, you know. But then you go to your person and your people like, all right, he did, but we getting back up, okay? and clean you up and undo, allow God to undo whatever had taken place, right? Whatever you started entertaining some of these lies that he was really now we're not entertaining these lies anymore, and we're going to counteract, right, and start walking in the truth. So even wherever you are, if you at that moment where you realize that really was them, and I can't, I okay, let's don't stay there. Let's keep it moving. Let's let's grab a hold we need to. Those who are stronger, let's grab hold to the strong and let's keep it moving. Let them carry you out of this pit, and let's move forward. And let's move forward. So all these things at this moment that I was telling myself, even with the being taken advantage of and intimidation, I was crying, asking God, why are people intimidated by me? And when I really felt like I was just making, and I didn't see what they saw. But now I begin to now realizing, I begin to even realize, even the more so because I'm allowing myself to realize that it really was that, that God's light and his conviction that was on my life. I guess for the most part, it was causing conviction on their life because and instead of just understanding that I'm being convicted, they decided to mock me and, and everything else for me and my gifts or whatever. But that's none of my business. And I had to now allow God to fight for me in this area, right? To not back away, but just keep moving because that part ain't my business. If you're convicted and you don't want to do nothing with your convictions, again, that's none of my business. And so here's when I began to get strengthened, or at least work to get strengthened. It didn't happen right away. It definitely didn't happen right away. Um, Again, because of I got into an accident in February too, as well. And that's what really made me sit my toe down too, to be honest with you guys. I feel like he can't sit me down unless I'm in an accident, obviously. Um, I got into an accident in February. We'll get into that in the next episode. But this is around that same area, um, or time frame where he had to really to literally sit me down and to we got to this point where we're learning um, to you know stop and I had to be careful right here. I had to be careful because yeah. So with all that being said, we're going to stop here. And I will pick up. I told you guys it's a lot. We even get to this is just what I'm trying to. I can't go by month because so much happened in 1 month is ridiculous. So we 2025 is intense, but it was good. So um, stay tuned for the next part as we continue to walk on the journey of how to get healed. You guys, how to get healed. How did I get here? Because I walk around now and say I'm dangerous now because I have healed, right? But how did I get here? So know and know that you know that you know that you know that you are loved, not just by little, but greatly, not just by some, but by the one who created you in his love. And he is not the only one who loves you. We love you unconditionally. And there is nothing, absolutely, absolutely nothing that you can do to ever change that. You are the prize, so I will be glad. Be